Welcome to the second episode of Indianapolis 500 Extra on the Rain Race podcast. My name is Chris Early. I'm solo on this one because I, for whatever reason, can't get in contact with Kyle tonight. So we're going to be covering day 3 of practice from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. We saw 3,349 combined laps today. The fastest driver at the end of the day was Marco Andretti with an average speed of 227.053. So Marco Andretti in the combined session yesterday was the fastest Honda, and today he was the fastest driver overall, the only driver in the 227 so far this year. Another thing I wanted to point out is that we talked about this a little bit yesterday. Dale Coyne wasn't really up to pace, and they continued that whole trend today. I know Sebastian Bourdais was way off pace. He was way down in 31st at the end of the day. The highest placed Dale Coyne car ended up being Pippa Mann in 25th place. Not too sure if Dale Coyne is just experimenting with some race setups. I know we've seen some other teams out on track trying out some team-based drafting. We saw Andretti Autosport doing it today. We saw Schmidt-Peterson in particular trying out a lot of team drafting. But Dale Coyne at the moment still seems to be quite off the pace, especially Zachary Clement DeMello, who is 35th and last today with an average speed of 221.823. The fastest non-tow lap we saw of the day came from Tony Kanaan and AJ Foyt at 223.048 miles per hour, which slotted him in 6th place overall. Another thing that I found quite interesting today is that Carlin actually found quite a bit of pace in the hands of Charlie Kimball, who found himself 5th place at the end of the session, average speed of 225.887. I know coming into the month there were a lot of people who were thinking Carlin might not have the pace, particularly Charlie Kimball coming from a Ganassi ride last year, and Ganassi is always pretty strong at the Speedway. A lot of people didn't see them being in a position like this. And yes, again, it's still practice 3. We're very early on, so it's not really a true rendition of what we'll see on qualifying weekend or race day, but it's still definitely interesting to see Charlie Kimball up there at the moment. Max Chilton, his teammate, completed the session down in 19th place. Penske, who were pretty much the fastest drivers yesterday, didn't really find themselves that close to the front today. The fastest Penske we saw ended up being Simon Pagenaud, followed by Joseph Newgarden and Elio Castroneves. Pagenaud was the only one to find himself inside the top 10. Newgarden and Elio were both 12th and 13th. The most laps completed today were from Jack Harvey at 224 laps. Obviously, he was the driver with the most completed laps yesterday as well, so it seems that he in particular is out there trying to get a good feel for the new car. Actually, I believe it was only him and Ryan Hunter-Reay were the only two drivers to go above 200 laps. I think Ryan Hunter-Reay was at 201 laps, so Jack Harvey with the most laps by quite a significant margin. And the last thing I want to go over here is that Danica Patrick finished 14th today in the session with 124 laps completed. Some good experience. It definitely looked like she was getting a lot more comfortable out on track. We saw her making some passes that she wouldn't really be trying yesterday early in the day. Very interesting to see her doing that. Got quite a few laps in the bag, which is great preparation for the race in less than 2 weeks' time. She's showing some considerable pace right now, so it'll definitely be interesting to see where she can find herself come qualifying weekend, which is just a couple days away now. We're not going to be seeing the boost turned up on the cars until Friday, so we won't get a true indication on how fast these cars will be going until we get to Friday. But right now, it does look pretty promising. I know last year we were seeing around 226, 227 in the first few days of practice, and that's pretty much what we're seeing this year as well. So it'll be very interesting come Friday and come qualifying weekend to see what type of speeds we're seeing here. I've seen people speculating low 230s. It'll be definitely interesting to see what we will find. Anyway, hopefully we'll be back tomorrow. We'll definitely be back tomorrow, but hopefully Kyle will rejoin me because he definitely has a lot more to add than I do when it comes to this stuff. But I hope you all enjoyed that episode. You can click the card at the top right if you want to see the rest of our podcast. Thank you all for tuning in, and I'll catch you tomorrow.